Hi, I'm Sherry McKay, and I am a white woman worship leader leading my church through a transition from monocultural worship to multicultural worship. Today I want to talk to you about incorporating language into the worship service. Our church has been monocultural white for a long time. We're primarily English-speaking people. What I didn't realize is that there are 10 or more languages in my congregation that my church members speak at home. And so one of the things that we've done to incorporate language into the worship service is through music. And because we're primarily English-speaking congregation, it's really overwhelming to think about singing in another language. And we also want to do this in a meaningful way. What we do not want to do is introduce language as a form of tokenism where we're just checking a box and saying, yeah, we're multicultural because we sang in Spanish. It needs to be meaningful, and it needs to be personally connected to the people in your congregation. And so we chose a language that's spoken in India. We chose Telugu because we have a few families in our congregation that speak that language. Also, our church has taken some mission trips to India to Telugu-speaking people, and so our church has a personal connection. I invited some of my musicians or student band. We have a student band here with high schoolers that are Telugu-speaking students. Their families speak the language. And so first I asked, honestly, they came to me. The first thing was an email. One of the students said, hey, could we do this song? It's the song Breathe, which is a really popular worship song right now and one that we sing regularly in our congregation. The family that emailed me, they wanted to sing part of it in Telugu. And so we took one phrase. The phrase in English is, "This is the air I breathe." And we took that one phrase, we sang the rest of the song in English, but that one particular phrase we sang in Telugu. And we invited our Telugu-speaking friends to come to worship team practice, and I met with them prior to them coming to worship team practice. I met with them as a group, and we talked through why it was important and to use the Telugu language in a worship service, to share it with our English-speaking church friends. And so we did that together, and they shared a lot with me that was it was just beautiful what they were sharing with me, what the song meant to them personally, and what it meant to them to sing their language with their church family in the United States. So I asked them to share those thoughts with our worship team at large. So in rehearsal, we took time to listen to them tell their stories. Now, at the same time, COVID was really raging in India. And one of my worship team members had grandparents in India who were dealing with COVID and who were sick. And so this is another connection that we were making. See, we're making it personal. We're not just checking a box. We are making connections, personal connections, so that this has more meaning for our congregation and for the people who are singing. And so I had 3 Telugu-speaking worship team members that week. Each one of them shared something specific about the song, or about speaking the language, or about why it was important to them. And especially with COVID, that just gave them more to share. And then we introduced it to the worship team, and we had our Telugu-speaking worship team members say the phrase first, and then they repeated it, and everybody felt awkward. And I'm just telling you, doing it for the first time was really hard. It's not that people were resistant to the idea, it's just, I think they couldn't visualize it or wrap their brain about around what we were doing or what we were trying to do or why we were trying to do it. So we took the time to keep talking about it. And then when it started to become real in rehearsal, it got easier. Light bulbs started to go off and personal connections were being made. And then the final step was in the worship service itself. We again had our Telugu speaking worship team members share with the congregation about why it was meaningful for them for all of us to join together in singing this song in their language. Let's repeat that, church. Ladies, sing that again for us. Let's sing all together. Your holy presence. Your holy presence living in me. The fun thing is that after it was all over, people kept coming up to me and telling me they could not get that Telugu phrase out of their mind. They kept singing it all week long. They enjoyed singing it, and they're asking me when they can learn more of the song in Telugu, because we only did the one phrase. So it's meaningful for everyone, and I think it added to our brotherly and sisterly love for one another as a community. And then finally, I just keep thinking of all these reasons why it's been so great for us. People would talk about it outside the church. My son delivers pizzas, and he's a college student, plays football, and delivers pizzas for side money. And the pizza place that he works at has people that speak other languages than English. And they heard about us implementing language through artwork and through song. And when they heard about it, even though it wasn't their language, they asked if we might be interested in implementing their language. And these are people who are not believers in Jesus Christ. They follow another religion, but they're interested. And this is an opportunity for us to invite people from that. And this is what it's all about, right? This is why we do what we do, so that we can share the good news of Jesus Christ with our communities where we live. The people in our neighborhoods, the people that we see in the grocery store, the people at the pizza place, all the people that at the bus stop, everywhere where we live, we want our communities to know about Jesus. And if the people in our communities are speaking different languages than English, it is so powerful if we can take a moment to create something familiar to them. A lot of people will refer to this as a heart language, to present something in a worship service that is in someone else's heart language. So let me just share one more story with you. My cameraman asked me the other day, so we're in America, we speak English here. Shouldn't everyone assimilate? Shouldn't we all be speaking English? And he was sharing with me his thoughts on that. And I shared with him a story that I'll share with you. My son, another son, started a job, a brand new job last week. He's graduated from high school, and he's doing his first full-time job, and he's going to community college at night. So everything's so brand new for him. He's got to figure out, his job will take him to different locations. So he's got to figure out where he's going, what time he needs to get up, how he needs to prepare for the day, what he needs to bring with him. He is doing construction work, so he's got to figure out what tools he needs to bring, make sure he has his battery charged. He's navigating lots of brand new things that he has to just think about throughout the day, and he has to think about the whole day, which he's not accustomed to. So he's got to be ready for school at night, even though he's been working all day. And he comes home, he's absolutely exhausted. And he said, well, it's not that the day was long, it's just that it just wore me out figuring out how I was going to get to everywhere, where I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to be doing. And that is akin to people who are coming here from another country, and they're trying to figure out how to navigate all our systems that we take for granted. They're trying to figure out how to make it through each day in a culture that is different from theirs, learning all the do's and the don'ts and how things work. And it's just easy for us. We have our routines. We're just rolling out of bed. And so for them, people who are coming from other countries and are learning a new culture, it can be exhausting. It can be absolutely exhausting. And so if we create something in the church worship service where they can take a deep breath, where they hear something that's in their language, something that's familiar to them, something that's like home, then we've just helped to make their heart more able to connect with the Lord, to receive the Lord, and hear from Him. So it's worth it. It's so worth it. I want to reach people for Jesus Christ. I know you do too. I want to help them experience the Lord. So look in the show notes below, and there'll be some links to some different resources, places where you can go and explore some songs that are worship songs and incorporate language. But I encourage you to try and focus primarily at the beginning on languages that are represented in your congregation. And then as you move on from there, you can consider songs that are not necessarily representing songs from your congregation, but songs that incorporate language of people in your community that you hope will one day be in your congregation. So make sure to check out those links.